Hi, this is Dina from Brain Balance of Lake Worth, and I'm here with Willa Hickson, the grandmother of one of our students, Maurice. Hi.
Hi.
So Willa, tell us what life was like before Brain Balance.
Well, life with me and Maurice was like a struggle. And at one point, I didn't even realize that my grandson had a learning disability until I went out and I took him out to a neurologist, and I learned that he was diagnosed with dyslexic. So at that point, I started going to neurofeedback in Palm Beach Gardens, and I went 3 times out of the week because they say that he also had ADHD. So that's one of the problems why he wasn't being focused in school and unattentive to what was going on in the classroom. So at that point, Maurice and we went to Sylvia Learning Center after we left neurofeedback. And
How was neurofeedback?
Neurofeedback was 3 days out of the week, and they put these tubes on his head and some headphones on his ears, and they had like 45-minute session with him, and it was supposed to have balanced and made him focus, but at some point Maurice wasn't retaining any information in school. He had no interest in his school work, and he was failing.
Okay.
So that didn't work.
Okay.
And then I went to another program in Fort Lauderdale, 3D, but at that point Maurice was so far behind and he was struggling in his academic and school, and he had some projects and he was only able to do the projects hands-on. He had to do projects because he couldn't retain the information in school, so we did the projects and they assist me with doing the projects. So really Maurice didn't get much of a training from that program.
Okay.
Maurice was so far behind till it was to the point where everyone was telling me he needed to be medicated.
Okay.
And
So
me
that
as a
was the
grandmother
step you were looking
refused.
at.
Yes.
Okay.
So as a grandmother, I refused to medicate him because I didn't think that was the right thing to do for the kid. If he was grown and he make his own choices, that's another thing. But as an adult and his guardian, I didn't think that was a proper thing to do.
Okay.
So at that point, I was sitting in my car one day and I heard this commercial come on the radio, and it was about brain balance. And I grabbed the ink pen and I wrote the number down because I was curious to find out just what they had to offer.
Right.
So I called and I spoke with the director, and her name is Carrie, and she went through each step, what they do and what they program has to offer. And you know, I had been to so many places it was like going in one ear, coming out of the other.
So you want to know what makes Brain Balance different than what else you've tried in the past? What was going to be helpful with Brain Balance? What can help you?
That's
What
correct.
you're trying to figure out.
That's what I was
Can we help
asking.
Maurice? Is this a good fit?
Yes. And she said, well, what we do is different from what the other programs you have been to have provided. And as me and her were talking, and I said, okay, she was explaining to me about the hemisphere. And I said, oh, okay, well, you're right, because no one else had that type of service to provide for Maurice. So I decided to come in for an interview. And at that time, I was already engaged in another program, and I explained it to the director. But after the walkthrough, and
The tour of our
after
center?
the tour, I was just amazed, and it was like, this is approach that no one has never had given me. So I think that from going through each other of the tour with her and step by step of what her program had to offer, at that point, I was like, I gotta try it.
Right.
You know?
It was different.
It was different.
It's kind of like an aha moment as a parent.
Yes. So at that point,
It made sense.
It made sense to me. I went home and I did a little research, and I said, okay. I called her back and I said, when can we start? And she was checking her schedule, and I was like, it was like maybe 3 weeks out, but I was desperate at that point. I say, I'm ready to start now. And she worked me in because she knew the concern that I had when I came here about Maurice.
Yes.
And from what I learned from her, that she was more concerned than the kid herself. And that meant a lot to me. It wasn't just about the program or her being the director or the owner. She was concerned about the kid learning disability.
Yes.
So I came, and I'm here, and I have seen a great progress in Maurice academically and behavior.
Okay.
At one point, Maurice was he wasn't able to focus, and he wasn't able to organize his life, and he was getting a lot of bad reports from his teachers in school, and
we found Maurice to be left weak.
Yes.
Which made sense with the dyslexia, and I think we also kind of found that auditory processing was a bit of an issue, and that could have been the reason why he wasn't focusing, maybe instead of the ADHD. So once Maurice started, say you're in a couple of weeks into the program, what was the first couple of changes that you saw for the positive?
Well, for the positive, it was the diet change, you know, that you guys introduced me to, that went along with the program. So that was very important, and I noticed that after like 2 or 3 weeks, he wasn't as hyper as he usually are, and he was wanting to read. At one point, Maurice didn't even pick up a book, but at some point after 3 weeks, he was wanting to read. He was excited about coming to Brain Balance, because all the other programs he would say, oh no, I gotta go there today. And I would say, well, Maurice, of course, you know, you gotta learn.
Right.
But to come here, it made a difference. He was thrilled to come here because he felt that he were benefiting from coming to Brain Balance.
So he felt, you would say, the changes himself?
Yes. He would say, Grandmama, I read this passage and they asked me some questions, and I got them all right. And he would say, Grandmama, I usually don't, I can't do that. That place is really working. You know, because all the other places, he wasn't excited about it.
Right.
And a kid would tell you more than you would know from having an experience with them saying, okay, let me hear you read, okay, let me see you do your homework. That kid actions will tell you a lot. And Maurice have proven to me that Brain Balance have brought him where he needs, not quite at this point where his academic, but Maurice came here on a 2nd grade level, and I guarantee you right now Maurice is at a high 5th grade level.
That's amazing.
That is
amazing.
amazing.
So,
yes, it is.
that's
And
so
Maurice
amazing.
feels great about himself.
The self-confidence.
Yes, he does.
That's awesome.
Yes, he
That
does.
is- That's what we do. So what would you say your favorite through this whole journey that we've been through, which Maurice is still attending, but it's coming to a close. What would you say your favorite part of this journey is, or if you had to give advice to another mother or grandmother or aunt or someone else that's struggling with the same things that you struggled with, a child, what kind of, advice would you give them after this journey?
Don't give up. There's another side to the kid. Give him that opportunity, and brain balance definitely works. I'm a grandmother, I'm here, I've been dedicated, I've been consistent. I've been here 3 days out of the week. He's on a strict diet, and things have just been so much brighter now. It's like he does his homework on his own. He picks up a book and he reads. He gets in my car in the afternoon and he say, "Grandma, my teachers are loving me this year." And he's just so happy because he's more focused in the classroom. He's not acting, being disrupted, because if you don't learn and you can't retain the information, you will be destructive in the classroom.
Right.
Because, you're not learning it and it becomes boring to you.
Right.
So at that point, last year, he had a lot of problems, but this year, he is really, really, really happy with himself.
Oh, and that makes us very, very happy.
Yes, you guys have did more than I could have ever expected.
Aw.
And as what I've seen now, and all the family members that's involved in Maurice's life, they say, this is the only place that has ever worked for Maurice. And like I say, well, I'm happy too. And this is just a start, and Maurice needed that.
Maurice is going to do great things. He's
Yes.
a great kid, and we're going to miss you and him tremendously, but we're so proud of both of you and how far he's come. And
Thank you guys for the support. And Maurice is really comfortable here. He looks at you guys like a part of his family.
yes.
And you guys have just showed so much concern, and that means a lot. It wasn't just about the kid coming in and going out the door.
Right.
You guys put all your all into it, and that really makes a difference too. If you invite me in your home and you make me comfortable, then and I'm relaxed, I have more of ability to work harder.
Right.
And that kid has really worked hard. And
I'm glad it felt like home to him.
yes, it did.
It'll always be his home.
Okay.
Thanks, Willa.
And thank you guys.